You see, up until 2010, you could only get one or the other. If you wanted speed and thrill on the freeway and wanted to pass cars at 150 miles per hour, you should have gone a super sport bike. If you wanted to be comfortable riding around the countryside and just feeling the breeze in your face, you would have gone a cruiser. But Ducati came up with a bike that could do both, and both flawlessly. Here I have in front of me the 2015 Ducati Diavel, a category of bike created by Ducati called the sport cruisers or the power cruisers. And that's just what it is. It's a super fast Harley. Think of it that way. Or think of it this way, putting Usain Bolt's legs on Stephen Hawking. I'm gonna show you all around this motorcycle, all the features and all the attributes and all the cool gadgets this bike comes with. And then I'm gonna take it out on the road and ride it, and then I'm gonna give it an Emmy score. Let's start here. At the heart of this motorcycle, you have Ducati's Testostrada 11-degree valve overlap Desmodromic L-twin engine. This engine has a 1,198 cc displacement and only 2 cylinders. It makes 175 horsepower on the sport mode on this motorcycle, and it makes about 120 horsepower if you pick the road mode. The ECU limits the horsepower output of this engine, so it's more manageable and less jerky. And it sounds pretty good. Take a listen. This engine is mounted on a trellis frame, a hollow tubular trellis frame on this Ducati that you can see stands out very much so with this white color on the black surrounding paint. Looks really good on this engine. Now let's move on to the front wheel. The rim itself is made by Marchesini, the Italian manufacturer of alloy wheels, and Ducati, I believe, has a contract with them. So on the majority of Ducati's Marchesini's, both the front and the rear wheels rim mounted on these 320 millimeter sized rotors are these monoblock Brembo calipers with 4 pistons. It's really essential for these huge calipers to be here because this motorcycle is extremely heavy at about 520 pounds wet. That is absurd for what you would call a sport bike. Over here you have Marzocchi's forks, and they are fully adjustable, and I like the way these get adjusted. Is you don't even need any tools or anything. You just go up there and rotate these knobs, and that just adjusts the preload stiffness, all of that, the travel, all of that with these front forks. The front tire mounted on this motorcycle is a standard front tire of 120/70 ZR17. This one in particular is Pirelli's Diablo Rosso. I'm not sure if this Ducati back in 2015 came out with that exact tire or if it was an aftermarket tire placed on it. I mean, I know it's not the same tire, but I'm not sure if the owner decided to put the exact same brand and configuration tire as it came out of factory. And now we move on to one of the best design attributes to this motorcycle, and that is its rear wheel. You can see it's a single-sided swing arm, so you don't see any swing arms connecting the wheel to the frame on this side. It's only on the back side of the motorcycle, on the left side, and that's where the chain and everything is. On this side, you see this uninterrupted view to the wheel of this Marchesini 18-inch wheel, and mounted on it is, I believe, one of the industry's biggest rear wheels. That is a Diablo Rosso 240 tire. It is 24 centimeters wide. It looks like a car tire on this motorcycle, and I really love this view of this motorcycle. Really, when you are in the HOV lane, when you're in the toll lane on the very left side of the freeway and you're riding down the freeway, people get to see this angle of your motorcycle. A beautiful sight, a beautiful shot, and I think this 3/4 view of this motorcycle is in fact the prettiest way to look at this bike. But anyways, that is the rear wheel. You're gonna have to go on the other side to see the brake calipers. But if you do, it's also a Brembo caliper. It's a dual piston floating caliper on this motorcycle, mounted on a 265 millimeter rotor. This combined with those massive two front calipers provides amazing stopping power for this 520-pound motorcycle. Now let's talk technology on this motorcycle. You see two screens here, one mounted on the handlebar and one mounted on the gas tank. The one on the gas tank is actually a TFT screen. It's full color and it plays a little show for you when you turn on this motorcycle, and you have a black and white screen on the top to show you the speed that you're going and your rev, your RPM, and all that information. The one on the bottom, the full colored one, is where you have the menu for this motorcycle. You can change the clock there, you can change the driving modes or riding modes on this motorcycle, and all of that can be adjusted on the full color, the beautiful screen that's at the bottom. In between the two screens, you have a button. What does it do? Well, this motorcycle is a keyless motorcycle, so you don't take the key out and put it into the bike to turn the bike on just like a car. You just keep it in your pocket, and when you get close to this bike, it senses that you're there, and if you just push this button, it turns the bike on. If you don't have the key on you, that's where that button can come into play. When you press it, it is prompting you to now put a code into the motorcycle, the code that you have set up previously, or if it's brand new, the dealership gives you usually the last 4 digits of your VIN. And when you put that code in there, even without a key at all present on you, if you forgot it at home, or if it fell out of your pocket or whatever, it will prompt you to put the code in and it comes to life. Other features on this motorcycle, it has the traction control, typical stuff. The ABS on this model is just standard. You can't pick a non-ABS model for this motorcycle. It has the anti-wheelie control and some other pretty much standard features that super sport motorcycles come with. Not a lot of cruisers come with the options that this bike is equipped with. Now, on the handlebar, you will see these two reservoirs for fluids. One is for the brake, and this one is for the clutch. Yes, this motorcycle comes with a hydraulic clutch, but after driving it for a couple of miles, I've noticed it is very hard to pull. I can't even squeeze it from this angle. Recently, I test rode a ZX6R from 2024, so about 10 years younger than this motorcycle, and that one, despite being a cable, it was way smoother in operation than this hydraulic one. So I assume it's just because it's old. As far as the front headlight and the turn signals, they are all LED, as well as the rear tail lights, they're all LED as well. And it's expected from Ducati at this price point and this motorcycle, they would not cheap out on visuals like that and put halogen or bulbs and stuff like that. They're all LED. And now a note about the models available. Back in 2015, when this bike came out, you could pick from two variations. One was the regular Ducati Diavel and one was this one, the more expensive one, and this is called Ducati Carbon. Some of the changes between this and the base model were those Marchesini wheels that were different on the non-carbon version. And also this bike has this cover that's carbon fiber and the tank that is carbon fiber. And also you get the Ducati Diavel carbon badge here. Other than that, no major changes between this and the base model. Your next question might be, well, this is a supposedly cruiser / touring bike as well, right? In addition to being a super sport. But does it have any storage capacity? Well, if you bother with taking the key out of your pocket, you are gonna go under the tail, and you can remove in one move the entire assembly, the back of the bike. And when you do, you see that there is zero storage. There is in fact less storage on this motorcycle than I saw on a super sport bike ZX6R from Kawasaki. Under the seat, you also see the Ducati branded toolbox. It can really help you on the side of the freeway if you have to rebuild the top end of your engine. Now, one thing that I like about this motorcycle is because when the seat is up here, the only thing you can really reach and grab is that carbon fiber, fragile, expensive piece that goes right here. But how are you supposed to get it on and off a stand if you don't have anything to grab back here? Well, Ducati has come up with a genius solution. You see this handlebar here? There is a button right over here. If you grab and pull it up, you can unlock this handle. You pull it out and there you go. And when you pull it out, you can grab it and move the bike around with this tail handle right here. Now, what about the design choices made on this motorcycle? It's Italian. That's all I need to tell you. Everything on this bike was designed and placed exactly where it looks best for this motorcycle. From this single-sided swing arm and the Marchesini wheels, all the way to this beautiful dual color white and carbon fiber configuration on this motorcycle, and where the reservoirs are, and these two vents that get air to the 1200cc engine of this motorcycle. Everything is absolutely beautiful. And when you look from the back of this motorcycle, you'll see this wide tire, never seen before in any other motorcycle in this class or in this category, unless you're talking about custom built bikes. But everything here just looks beautiful and I absolutely love it. And with all that said and done, it's time to get this motorcycle out on the road and see how it rides. All right. Okay, not too bad. I really like the sound of V-twins, I mean L-twin in this case, but twin engines generally, the two cylinder setup. It's very thumpy. Now the seating position, it is, I want to say, more geared towards sport than touring, because although I am sitting here and my arms are elevated up here, I am still tucked in a little bit. Definitely nowhere near as much as like a ZX6R, ZX10R, stuff like that, but I am not sitting straight up like a Harley. So it is closer to supersport than cruiser. That's the reason I believe the owner has changed the gas cap to a keyless cap, because essentially with that being keyless, you absolutely have no need to bring your key along with you. You can just leave it at home, especially that it's, I believe, $800 to get a new key fob if you lose that one, and it's a whole process, like it has to ship from Italy. All right, now the motorcycle is in the sport mode, and let's go ahead and see what this is about. I am impressed. Wow, the sound of this motorcycle is just beautiful. The throttle response is extremely jittery, it's very jerky, and the smallest twist of this throttle just launches the bike. And now moving on to the Emmy score. In the commuter category, the bike's riding comfort is above average, but not Honda Goldwing comfortable. You're still leaning forward a little bit, and your feet are positioned a bit to the back, more like a super sport bike than a cruiser. Combined with vibrations and jerky moves, it earns the Diavel a 6 out of 10. The fuel tank is big, holding roughly 4.5 gallons of gas, but since the engine is nowhere as efficient as modern commuter motorcycles, it gets about 30 miles per gallon and you have to stop for gas regularly, earning the bike a 6 out of 10. But at least it's got a, nice and accurate fuel gauge, so you aren't going to get stranded. As far as commute-specific tech goes, the Diavel has no cruise control, no tall windscreen to prevent the wind from hitting you in the helmet, no heated grips, no navigation system, but is equipped with a keyless function for comfort and convenience, and also is equipped with the touring mode, which increases fuel efficiency and decreases jerkiness at the throttle and earns a 3 out of 10. Storage is straight up non-existent in the Diavel. If you're planning to carry anything more than your title and registration, you should be prepared to shell out hundreds of dollars for OEM saddlebags or carry a backpack. Diavel gets a 1 out of 10. An important factor making a bike a great commuter bike is the cost effectiveness, reliability, and dealer network. The Diavel is an Italian bike famous for expensive interval maintenance such as the Desmo service that costs over $2,000 and parts that are not cheap in case of minor accidents. However, among European brands, Ducati has the largest dealer network, earning the Diavel a 4 out of 10. This earns the Diavel a total of 20 out of 50 points for the commuter category. Very surprising to see a bike that is advertised as a commuter bike is in fact not super good at commuting. In the performance category, however, the Diavel's slight aggressive seating position means average aerodynamics and rider's control in corners and twisties earn it a 5 out of 10. The horsepower figure being around 150 to 170 and the torque of around 91 pounds-foot of torque earns the Diavel a healthy 7 out of 10. The more horsepower / torque, the higher the score in this category. The Diavel is a very heavy motorcycle at 520 pounds, earning it a 3 out of 10. In regards to the rider aids technology, it is limited to only Ducati's traction control, anti-wheeling system, and the ABS system, earning it a 5 out of 10. As for the Diavel's market position and design choices, it is a very beautiful bike and definitely eye-catching. Carrying the Ducati badge ensures that everyone knows you dropped some serious cash, but it is one of the lesser-known Ducati models compared to, let's say, something like the Panigale by non-riders, and it's one of the most depreciating models of Ducati, losing almost half of its value in the first 4 years. But if you can get a good used one and can get past those few other quirks, it is a great choice. The Diavel earns a 6 out of 10 in the dope factor category for a total performance score of 26 out of 50, which places it here on my spreadsheet. Again, no other power cruisers that I have reviewed yet that could compare the Diavel to themselves. But down the road, as I review more motorcycles, you're gonna get a better sense of where the Ducati Diavel 2015 carbon version stands.